starting the transmission. We're live again. Try to fix that. Now it should be available in both formats on YouTube. It was originally supposed to be that way. I don't know what the problem was. I don't know. We'll go back up on Insta. We'll go back up on the thing. I'm going to go back to my dashboard. I'm going to go to my live. And the ha ha ha. You thingy. This is, go to here. Let's see if this one opens it up. Which one's which? Nope, that's the wrong one. Back up. And there should be this one then. Yeah, there we go. So, yes, they're both. So you can watch it in either. Yay. So you can watch in landscape or in vertical on YouTube, depending on your format. You're welcome. And I'm sorry. I like the widescreen a lot better. But it's interesting who we pick up as far as audience when we go vertical. You know, the kids today are used to holding their phone like this instead of like this. It's a lack of just respect for true cinematography as far as I'm concerned. But that said, we'll cover what we got to cover. Now, back to where we were. Bongholio has called it quits because a couple of reasons. One, Epstein files. Two, he is a big weenie. No two ways about it. Just he's a big crybaby, and there's no two ways about it. And let's see. All right, there we go. Now we shall see what we shall see. But I'm going to check in with this. So a lot of people have been talking about this. Well, here, first of all, I want to see what the speculation is before I see the real answer. Yeah? How about that? All right, let's jump right in. It's Sal Sparks Megaworldwiide. Hit that like again. I'm sorry if it's confusing. I'm working on it. Okay. So, Bongholio, reason for leaving revealed. Hey, it's Benny.
I'm Mr. Lonely. I have nobody for my own. So lonely.
Yikes.
What's up, guys? Spenny, is the work of the FBI perfect? No. Is the agency able to be reformed by human beings? I don't know.
Well, so does that mean Kash Patel isn't a human being, or you just have no faith in him being able to do anything, and so you're just cool with the idea that he sucks?
Possible. Was Dan Bongino a great selection to try and reform it? Has
No.
this man given his life to try and fight the deep state?
No, he has not. He's not given his life. He's made a shit ton of money off of it, and he bitched and moaned for 5 months. What do you mean given his life? He's alive, you dumb son of a bitch.
And to uproot the rot that it causes? Yes.
No, he hasn't.
Absolutely. This is
No, not absolutely. He's still alive. He's still rich. He stuck around for 5 goddamn months, you weirdo.
why at the RNC convention, I noted that everybody, at least in our audience and on our feed, wanted Dan Bongino to be serving
dozens
in
of
government.
people calling for you to be put in charge of a special task force to reform the Secret Service. Every single morning.
I think you and I know the boss pretty well. We were at the UFC with him, right? And I just had Kash Patel on. And I think my take on it is this is hilarious. Benny just takes over this interview with me on my own show. But that's cool. I actually
People
enjoy
wanna
that.
know.
Yeah, I like that. I think my take on it is, and you do the same thing. The boss calls and asks you to serve your country. You do it. And
Yeah, but only for like 4.5 months. And of course, you should complain about it the entire time and be useless while you're there. I mean, that's the part he left out at first.
I mean, I wouldn't do a salary or anything like that.
He took a salary. Just saying.
But you know, there are a lot of good people out there. I'm not the only one, and I really hope if it's not me, which you know, I hope he can find someone else. I think after this weekend, you and I are both like, you know, WTF, you know.
Just saying.
Saying what? That wasn't the job he got, dum-dum.
Just saying. Kash Patel saying he has Kash Patel on. Hey, I just had Kash Patel on. Well, Kash Patel and Dan Bongino running the FBI, but not anymore.
Yeah.
Boy, earlier this week, we brought you the news that Dan Bongino may well be leaving the...
No, you didn't. you mentioned you tried to cover for his idiotic tantrums and the fact that he already packed up his office. Friggin' Trish Regan knows it's empty, dummy.
FBI, and now we know why.
Because he sucks?
Dan Bongino is set to quit Trump administration after FBI job put a strain on his marriage.
Why? Was he going to say he was married to his job?
Here we go. And
Why? Why would it put us... Why? How come everybody else managed to stay married and do this job?
Dan Bongino, who has been happily...
Oh my God. The dude, 2 days before the Epstein files are coming out, the dude is quitting to spend more time with his family. Think about it. Think where you've heard that before, stupid. He's clearing the blast zone. He's basically said, red wire, blue wire, I got no idea. I'm out of here. You guys deal with it. That's why. He's bugging out because the files are going to be released. Because Congress forced it, not because he and Kash Patel and Trump and Pam Bondi wanted to release it and we're going to come clean with everything.
Married to his wife. They have 2 children together.
Well, I'm glad he's married to his wife. Important details you'll only find on Bendover's show.
For something like 30 years.
And it couldn't take 5 months in a real job.
Says this. Deputy Director Dan Bongino is preparing to quit the Trump administration. According to a report, Bongino has started boxing up knickknacks from his...
In 5 months, he's still got fucking knickknacks. Just... What? Is he crying while he's wrapping them in bubble wrap? Knickknacks. Is he going to leave behind his patty wax?
Office in D.C., sending them back to Florida, where he plans to return.
With his knickknacks. Because Florida, it's I think that's the state motto, home of knickknacks.
As a pro-Trump broadcaster ahead of the midterm elections, according to the New York Times.
Yes. Go back to being a propagandist for how much you suck.
Former podcaster and Fox News host gave up a lucrative media career
to have a real job.
In order to join the Trump
And it didn't last. He fucked up. He sucked at it.
administration. However, his brief tenure has been marked by public ambivalence towards the role as well as internal clashes.
Ambivalence. He bitched nonstop.
His colleagues, including Pam Bondi, over handling of the Epstein files.
Huh. What just the handling of it? He didn't like the grip she had on the files or whatever. She thought she was squeezing them too tightly or he was going to spill her coffee on them or something like that. She mishandled them.
Bongino was absolutely right on. Bongino threatened to quit based on the Epstein files.
And didn't. Now he's quitting because his wife is mad at him. So, sorry. His boss said she'd release the Epstein files. Didn't. Won't. Fought it. Congress had to come through with it. And now he's bugging out. What a douchebag.
Fiasco.
Fiasco that he was a direct participant in. Asshole, he had Kash Patel on Maria Bartiromo was the worst part of all this. Like, as bad as the stupid memo was, at least Pam Bondi had the brains to do it out of sight, out of mind. She just posted it and ran. He and Kash Patel went on the news and just castrated themselves in front of all of MAGA.
In May, Bongino candidly admitted that the demands of the role were straining the relationship with his wife, Paula.
In May. In fucking May. What is that? 6 weeks into the job?
Who lives in Florida, their 2 daughters. The pair have been married since 2003. I gave up everything for this.
What the fuck? Everything? Everything. He gave up everything. He moved to D.C. He can fly to fucking Florida anytime he wants. He's a millionaire. Gave up everything. Jesus Christ. You mean the daily ego filleting he gets from maggots? He started getting criticized because he had a real job.
I mean, my wife is struggling.
I mean,
He told Fox and Friends.
Why? Why? Sorry. Did he have to micromanage their relationship all the time? My wife is struggling. She can't figure out the junk drawer without me there to go, it's right here. Like,
I stare at these four walls all day in D.C. Myself, divorced from my wife, not divorced, but separated, and it's hard.
yeah, we heard that in May. It was whingy and pathetic then.
And he said he didn't
And this is before the Epstein shit.
enjoy the work, and while noting that he was proud to serve as the president. People ask me all the time, do you like it?
Sorry, he was proud to service the president? I thought he was just the deputy FBI director.
And I say, no, I don't.
Oh my gosh. That Lucas, thank you so much for the super chat. It's amazing. And Balthanos, thank you as well. And sorry, I can't see. It's too small on the thing. Jody, thank you very much. And Lucas, I can't read that out because it's too small in there. And Charcoal Blanc, thank you so much. Housemark's working on Tech Live is the best entertainment in my opinion. Yes. Well, I try to do it as much as I can for you because at least you know I know how to do it. Fix my own goddamn problems. That's why it annoys me when these dickheads can't even operate a stream deck.
He added that it was challenging for his family and noted that the president didn't ask me to do this in order to like it. Yeah, that's true.
Sorry, everybody else got a cush fucking job. What the dick?
Major flashpoint came in July when Bongino clashed with Bondi over the Justice Department's conclusion that the Epstein client list, no client list existed, contradicting years of theories that he had promoted on his show. Reports at the time described a tense standoff where Bondi accused Bongino of leaking on her. He took days off work, considered resigning the fury, and told allies.
You could say Führer. I think it works. I think it's pronounced slightly differently, but yeah.
Attorney General had overpromised and underdelivered, which is absolutely true. The controversy highlighted.
Which, by the way, wouldn't that be a reason to stick around and push harder? I'm sorry, I forgot. It lost out on me how like emotionally and psychologically and spiritually weak this asshole is.
Tension between the past right-wing podcaster and now top law enforcement officials. Following January 6 pipe bomb arrest, the FBI announced earlier this month, Bongino revealed Sean Hannity how the role changed his interpretation of high-profile investigations. In the past, one day, I'll look back in that space, and that's not what I'm paid to do now. I'm paid to be your deputy director, and we base investigations on facts, Bongino told Fox. Sort of like already queuing up that he's looking
a whiner
beyond this role, right?
No, not. He's using, I guess, past, present tense, but not because he's looking beyond the role. It's because he already doesn't give a fuck. He's over it. Too much work, not enough ass kissing. That's why he quit.
The past. The FBI deputy chief considered making his departure announcement at the press conference related to the pipe bomb arrest, according to the Times.
But he chickened out.
The timing of his resignation remains fluid. However, the decision to ship all of his stuff to Florida.
Yeah, mostly knickknacks. Obviously, he doesn't mean work files. Do I get to keep the pencils? The ones I sat here, my thumb up my ass, chucking into the sound tiles in my ceiling.
Means he has been
in my sad little room.
Firmly committed to quitting, the sources said. Bongino's departure would heap more pressure on Kash Patel amid the mounting outrage, the Brown University shooting.
Yeah, that is true. The deputy director is quitting, and they haven't even caught the fucking Brown guy. That's just been dangling for 5 goddamn days. And Patel and the president both fucked it up. We got him. Oh, we don't got him. You're free. Go walk around. Actually, keep your head down. He might be in the neighborhood. Where was Bongholio in any of that? Is he quitting because he was like, I was trying to tell Kash Patel, like, dude, don't tweet that. And he did.
It's true. It is absolutely not a time to lose an ally.
Well, it's not a ally. What is he, an emotional support deputy director? It's not like he's doing the fucking job, stupid.
You can see here on Fox News, Dan Bongino sort of talking about the...
Yeah, that's from May. That's the clip from May, stupid. We all saw it. I made fun of him at the time.
broken nihilism of the FBI and how it really strains someone.
Nihilism? Fuck you, dude. These people are working their ass off. You are a drag. You did... What the hell?
Who, well, likes his marriage and has to now be separated by thousands of miles.
Just, yeah, for 4 fucking months? It's not his marriage. It's his millions. He's separated from his millions.
And a lot of red tape. Damn, but
red tape? Around what?
You know, I gave up everything for this. My wife.
Oh my God. Just I don't know. Like who? How could you possibly be this weak in this job?
Is struggling. I stare at these 4 walls all day by myself. It's hard. At least the dude's honest.
Honestly, stupid. What's he doing hanging out in his office by himself? He's the deputy director. He's honest about how lazy and detached from his job there is. Eager for center stage, Patel casts aside caution in statements as FBI leader. Yeah, he's gotten it wrong multiple times. The Charlie Kirk killer, the Brown University killer. He shows up and takes credit for other people's work, and he has no idea what they've actually done. He won't leave the airplane until they find a woman's jacket that will fit him, and then he wants patches. He wants a FBI raid jacket when he's never been on an FBI raid. He wants a gun and a badge, and he's never been a field agent. He's stealing valor from the people that risk their fucking lives every day. And then, on top of that, he wants patches on it that say he's part of, like, a SWAT team he was never in.
Stage Patel cast aside caution in statements as FBI leader. So this is the New York Times article that they're talking about.
Yes, you're quoting the New York Times. So apparently Trump thinks it's fake news. You've crapped all over it, but it's the only place you can get real news.
As they talk through how Bongino is planning on stepping away from the role.
Which turned out to be true. So the New York Times got it right. Go ahead, say it, Benny. Say it. Say it!
The fate of Mr. Patel's top deputy, Dan Bongino, another incendiary former podcaster and Trump loyalist, appears to be more settled, though not entirely certain. Mr. Bongino said he plans to leave his job as soon as this week or as late as mid-July, according to 3 people with knowledge of his plans. I'm seeing a lot of speculation that it'll be Friday.
It's you know what? Look, say what you will. You know, he may be indecisive, but at least he's stupid.
One sign might be sooner rather than later. Mr. Bongino has been sending office knickknacks and other possessions.
Please tell me someone is keeping track of the knickknacks that aren't his. He's opening a small store in Florida called Comey's Collectibles.
Back.
These are all the medals that Comey got that he didn't get a chance to pick up on his way out of his office, so I'm pretending they're mine.
Florida, where he intends to resume his lucrative career as a broadcaster.
Yeah, that would be the lucrative being the key phrase, the key word there. Yeah.
Mr. Bongino's departure plans, his brief tenure has been steeped in
being pathetic.
Melodrama.
Knick-knack melodrama. It's the worst, you know. Honey, what's in those boxes? Why do you ask? Show me what's in the box. What's in the box? What's in the box? What's in the box? Knickknacks. Don't open that box. It's full of patty wax, and they'll get out all over the floor. And then they're really hard to. They're like triples. If they get out, they're bouncing everywhere.
This month, Bongino suggested that the associates that he might go out on a high note, sharing his plan to step down on a news conference announcing the capture of the pipe bomber near the party headquarters for
Until he found out how mad that maggots were that it wasn't a Capitol police officer and a woman, and it turns out to be like a possibly quasi-autistic black dude who lived in his mom's basement from Virginia.
the DNC and RNC. He even went out of his way to mend.
Who, by the way, the maggots still don't believe. Like, they don't believe Tyler Robinson killed Charlie Kirk. They don't believe this dude that they caught in Virginia is the Jan 6 pipe bomber. If they catch the Brown University guy, they're not going to believe that either.
Fences with a
Everything's a false flag. Everything's paranoid.
Bondi, whom he had accused of bungling the investigation of Jeffrey Epstein.
Bungling. It's an active cover-up, stupid.
Bongino's tenure as the second in command of the FBI has been marked by public statements that veer from pride to defiance to defensiveness. He turned to social media in an effort.
Whining. He's been whining the whole time
To justify the administration's actions and appease many of the podcast audience. Okay. So we'll see.
Yes, you will. Apparently, you'll see. Who knows? Maybe Trish Regan knows. Let's see. Is this? Hold on. Is this? Yeah. Trish Regan. You'll know her as the life model for most blow-up dolls.
Dan Bongino appears to be out at the FBI.
But what's in? Vaseline lens filters. That's a big thing right now. Bringing the Carrie Lake filter, TM.
Now, this was kind of a long time coming, right? I mean,
Yeah, he from the day he got the job. You mean?
Dan is outstanding at his job. I love his
No, he isn't. Based on what?
podcast. In fact, the worst thing about having him at the FBI is that I don't get to hear his podcast anymore.
Oh, I see. He's great at his podcast. He sucks as deputy director of the FBI, where it actually matters. Yeah, that's what you guys need. One more right-wing asshole blathering in defense of the president. But, I gotta say, better he goes there than be at the FBI where he could do real damage.
I'll tell you, I don't listen to a lot of podcasts. I really don't.
I'm guessing you don't do a lot of reading either.
None that we're competitive or anything with one another. No, I really, he's actually a podcast that I listen to because.
Oh, sorry. Breaking news. Trish Regan is now the deputy director of the FBI. As long as she wears her Wilma Deering spacesuit. That's the Trump's only rule. What? The shit?
Well, one, I know him and trust him, but two, I actually think he's one of the rare people in this industry that's actually good, right? Is bringing you inside information, et cetera.
No, he isn't. He was wrong. He was wrong about everything. And then once he became an insider, where he actually saw the inside information, he said it and everybody hated him for it. What the hell are you talking about?
So that's the plus. I guess we'll get Dan back on the podcasting front, but I do think he's probably one step out the door in terms of the FBI.
Well, now that you bring it one step out the door, apparently, breaking, Bongholio announces departure from the borough.
We have a Fox News alert for you here. Deputy FBI Director Dan Bongino announcing on X just moments ago he is leaving the Bureau in January.
In January.
He added this: I want to thank President Trump, AG.
He's already packed his shit. He's in January. He's already gone home for Christmas break and he's not coming back.
Bondi and Director Patel for the opportunity.
I want to thank President the opportunity to serve with purpose. I failed miserably, but most importantly, I want to thank you, my fellow Americans, for the privilege to serve you, which I hate and would rather just go make millions of dollars saying shit that has zero fucking consequence.
To serve with purpose. Most importantly, I want to thank you, my fellow Americans, for the privilege to serve you. God bless America and all those who defend her.
Ooh,
They'll just have to do it on their own.
Dana?
Yes.
I just got some breaking news.
Yes.
Fox is announcing a new show, Weeknights with Bongino.
What time?
11 p.m. 11 p.m. after Gutfeld.
No, that's Trace Gallagher. Yeah, don't.
Well, it's Trace and Dan.
That's a 48-second clip. They're not even allowing for a broader conversation.
One's going to be on each coast.
With that. All right, up next.
Hey, Sean Hannity.
Yeah, that's it. They just announced it and bugged out. Went straight to commercial. Oh, this is good stuff. So, anyways, I guess, dunk, dunk, dunk. Another one bites the dust. That's it. Bongholio is no more. How far behind him do you think Kash Patel is? I think is the big question, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see if, this is recent. Let's see if Trump mentions this. He was gaggling with reporters, as he often does. They call this gaggling, apparently. He was gaggling.
That was a beautiful event for three great people.
Beautiful event for three great people. The soldiers killed, the two soldiers and the interpreter killed in Syria, I'm guessing.
They're now looking down, and their parents and wives and all of the people that were there were, devastated.
Oh, here comes Susie. Look out behind you.
But great people. Great people. So thank you very much for being there. She's doing a great job.
He's asking about Susie Wiles, who just walked by. He said she's doing a great job. Also, why is this dude standing right by the engine with no ear covers? You hear that deafening whine? That dude is standing right next to it. Look at this guy.
It's the goal of the blockade with Venezuela to regime change.
It's just a blockade.
Yeah, it's just a blockade. Who needs a goal for a blockade? Sometimes you feel like a blockade. Sometimes you don't.
Let anybody going through that shouldn't be going through.
Yeah, so we understand what a blockade actually is.
You remember they took all of our energy rights. They took all of our oil.
No, they didn't. It's their oil.
From not that long ago. And we want it back. But
We're not... What? We're not invading Venezuela and taking their oil. What are you talking about? Also, I'm sure, maggots, there have to be some present. So you guys are cool with a land war in Venezuela for oil. When there's already, like I pointed out this morning, and I've been pointing out for a good long while, an oil glut. There's too much.
They illegally took it.
No, they didn't. They broke deals with American and international and British companies. Tough shit. Their country. You were doing a deal with them. They broke the deal. Don't make another deal with them. That's business. It's not ours. It never was. Even if Exxon or Chevron or any of these companies got the oil out of the ground, they sold it on the international market. They didn't ship it to the United States to give it away in some sort of commie oil plot for the American people. Ours. What the fuck? The oil under the ground in America isn't even ours. It literally belongs to the companies that mine it. We give them leases for the land.
Why he's planning to leave the FBI?
Oh, Dan did a great job.
Did. Past tense, he knew it. Okay.
I think he wants to go back to his show.
Yeah. Well, he put in 5 months of whiny, bitchy, lazy, non-work. And, he gave everything he had. It just turned out that it was a limp Vienna sausage amount of vigor that he had.
Kash Patel?
Yeah, I do.
You have faith in Kash Patel? Yeah, I do. Sure, yeah.
You mentioned getting land back to Venezuela. What land?
Getting land, oil rights, whatever we had.
Land, oil rights, whatever we had. Yep, we're going to invade Venezuela. Yep. There comes the peace president. You don't think he named shit the Department of War so that he can calm things down, do you?
Took it away because we had a president that maybe wasn't watching.
Watching what? If an American company makes a deal with another country and that country blows it, fuck them. What are we supposed... Again, are these nationalized companies? Are we nationalizing like Exxon and Chevron? So anywhere they lose on their investment, I mean, let's be clear. Iran is fucking next, apparently, right?
But they're not going to do that. We want it back. They took our oil rights. We had a lot of oil there. As you know, they threw our companies out, and we want it back.
Like, that's so fucking insane. Think about that for a second. Like, he thinks that an American company that goes and makes a drilling agreement with another country gives America, our country, those rights. And, by the way, the responsibility for enforcing their deal. How in the hell? Sorry, so if Apple gets a contract for cell towers across India, and then India decides against it and gives it to one of their local companies, are we going to invade India and blow up cell towers to seize back control of our airwaves? What? Somebody's like, we stole it fair and square. No, I'm sure those companies made agreements with Venezuela, and Venezuela didn't live up to them. Tough shit. That's business. What kind of commie horse shit is this? For real. Maggots, explain why you support this communist regime. So we're just nationalizing every company in the world, and if they have international investments and those go south for any reason, we're going to invade those countries? And sorry, we're the communists? What the hell?
Well, I think the message this evening is we inherited a mess, and we've done a great job, and we continue to, and our country is going to be stronger than ever before. Very soon. Thank you very much.
Very soon. All of it's going to work. Just stop complaining. The affordability crisis is not a crisis. It's a hoax. And the hoax is a creation of the Democrats, but it's real what they created, but it's a hoax that it still exists. And just like the Epstein files, if you don't feel good about the economy, he doesn't want your support anymore.
Much, everybody.
Mr. President, you can say...
Look at that. He's, yeah, these are shorter than usual. Now, I don't know. Yeah, he went to Joint Base Andrews to receive these. These are the first troops he's been there for the reception of since 2017. There have been 94 dignified returns, 97 now, dignified returns of American troops' remains to the United States. Trump, including this one, has been to 2 other ceremonies for a total of 7 out of the 97. 90 soldiers that were returned dead from the Middle East or from overseas, that were killed in accidents, that were killed in war. Trump blew them off because the parents yelled at him in 2017. He stopped going. He sent Pence instead. Because, America. By the way, don't forget to hit that like. And if you're a troll or a maggot and you're in the chat room, thank you for being here. Remember, time is the one gift you give to someone and you can never get back. There's no refunds and no regifting when it comes to time. And everything you write tells the algorithm, not only am I charming, but I'm engaging. Yeah. So he's going to do this speech tonight. He did give a big Hanukkah speech. This next clip, if I may, hit the like, share the show, etc., etc., etc. Don't forget super chats and Venmos and all that kind of stuff. Great way to help the show. Patreon.com/HalSparks, etc., etc. Let's jump into Donald Trump's message about Hanukkah. He had a little meeting at with a group of people, and this little gathering goes out to Dave Smith. Let's see what he had to say here.
But I watched him go, bing, bing. He went bing, bing, and 2 men.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. Nothing says Hanukkah to me more than.
It's like I'm sitting home watching it. It's amazing. The Situation Room is an amazing place. But I watched him go, bing, bing. He went bing, bing, and 2.
Yeah, great. I mean, I feel more in the celebratory season, and I'm not even Jewish. It's the third night of Hanukkah, and Donald said to me,
it's like I'm sitting home watching it. It's amazing. The Situation Room is an amazing place. But I watched him go, bing, bing. He went bing, bing, and 2.
Yeah, that's what he watched. He's talking about the bombing of Iran, by the way. He watched him go bing, bing, and he watched him go bing, bing. So there's that. Also, let's see. He tells the story of Hanukkah, though, which I think is the important part. Let's see. Okay. Let's first start off with the fact that he makes the mistake of inviting Mark Levin up to talk to him. Now, there are few people that maggots of all order have decided that they hate in the what they call the Israel First lobby. Let's see. There you go. More than Mark Levin. Yeah, here you go. And this, let's just start in where I think he makes the most sense. Here you go. Here you go. This is it.
Thank you. We have a man. I have to take a little time. Because
little time to think things over. Gotta read between the lines. 'Cause it's warm and life grows colder. In my life, there's been heartache and pain. Isn't that what he's going to break into? I don't know if I can face it again. Can't stop now. I've traveled so far to change this lonely life. All right. He's got to take it a little time.
every Saturday night. Used to be Sunday. Then he did so well that they put him on Saturday too, Saturday night. Do you know who I'm talking about? Because there's only one has Saturday and Sunday.
No, there's a lot of people on Saturday and Sunday. No. He's talking about Mark Levin, but I have no idea what the hell this means.
And Saturday is considered Death Valley, but it's not death because of ratings.
Right. They buried him on Saturday night as filler.
Nobody gets good ratings. Although actually my daughter-in-law is doing well and you always did well.
What? Oh, Laura Trump's on Saturday too? So they're basically just trying to draw maggots to the Saturday night Fox lineup, whatever they can. Like, just pack it in there. Nobody's going to watch this shit.
The great one, Mark Levin. And much.
By the way, Dave Smith hates this motherfucker. Tucker Carlson hates this motherfucker. Nick Fuentes hates him. Candace Owens hates this motherfucker. Like that, the big, like, Groyper anti, Israel MAGA wing. Oh, Mark Levin. It's amazing how much they bring him up because I think he's hilariously irrelevant. But when it comes to this, they hate him.
Much more importantly, his much more brilliant wife. Where are you? There you are. Would you come on up here, both of you? Get up here. Get up here. Look, every Saturday, every Sunday, I'm forced to watch television to listen to this guy talk about how frickin' great I am. Because he does like Trump. There's no question about it. Come on up here, Mark. Get up here. Come on up. What a beautiful couple. Did you get lucky? If you weren't a genius, you wouldn't have a wife like this. Mark, say a couple of words. Come here, darling.
I'm only showing this so that if Dave Smith ever comes across this clip, the top of his head will pop off.
And these people do like Israel.
Hold on.
Look at that, manhandling the president. Also, by the way, Mark Levin's not that tall. He certainly isn't 6'3".
And he loves Israel too.
It's true.
2 seconds. Just 2 seconds. 6 years ago, I was up.
He starts a conversation. It doesn't let go. This guy, let me tell you something about this dude right here, okay? Okay. No, don't go. Stay right where you are. This guy, this guy.
Here. And I said, this is our first Jewish president.
That's for Dave Smith. That's just...
It's true. Now he's the first Jewish president to serve two non-consecutive.
Non-consecutive. Not consecutive. Non-consecutive. It's an actual... It's hyphenated, but it's a real word. Yeah.
Presidencies. We thank you
That's
for
right.
everything.
That's right. Bad things happened on the second one. Namely, the election was rigged.
Oh, you mean this term? You're admitting that you rigged the election with the help of Elon Musk and others. Great. Way to screw it up.
And we found out, and you see that happening. But
no, you don't.
And you are the greatest.
Notice how he's like, I gotta get away from this dude.
Thank you very much.
And God bless you. I miss you.
Take care of that guy. Take care of that guy. No, he's so great. Thank you.
No, he's so great. He's so good. It's yeah. I'm just enjoying the fact that there is no way that the Candace Owens wing did not watch this part, like this Hanukkah gathering, because they were already up in arms about it anyways. Like, and leave it to Trump to turn a Hanukkah gathering not about the Jewish people or their religion or the fact that Jewish Americans are, an important part of American life and, human beings that live among us and that we have a shared root of our faith, all that kind of stuff, which is what most presidents do. No, it's all about like, I bombed the shit out of Iran for Israel. Nobody loves Israel as much as I do, and I'd do it again in a heartbeat. So yeah, good stuff. That one that's just a little love letter that goes out to the MAGA crowd. Now there was another one. Hold on, just a little bit. He has Miriam Adelson come up, and then let's see. Just gonna take and find this. Yeah. So here's another one. This is just in case you think, well, this is just it's just Hanukkah. Trump doesn't give them like more weight in terms of who he's listening to than anybody else, right?
We have so many friends. Hello, my man. How are you? Boy, we have good people here tonight, huh? This is the A-list. This is the A-list of any list. But
sorry, it was just like sorry, I forgot to switch over to the screen. Wait 1 second. You got to watch this. Hold on. This is especially where he says "my man" to whoever the guy he can't remember his name. There's a guy like over there, he can't remember his name.
Many friends. Hello, my man. How are you?
My man. What's up, my man?
Boy, we have good people here tonight, huh? This is the A-list. This is the A-list of any list. But
yeah, any list. I can't remember your name, but still.
It's an honor to have you all. It really is. What you've done and what you've gone through is incredible. And as a people, there's never been anything like it.
Nope, as a people. The Jewish people, nobody's ever gone through anything like this, ever. Okay, now here it is. Yeah, there you go. Let's see. We'll jump, yeah. He jumps ahead of hold on.
It helped when we were shooting all those drones down from jet fighters. Don't ever let anyone tell you a drone is better than a jet fighter. Drone's very nice.
Happy Hanukkah.
But when you have
Don't let anybody.
F-22s circling around them like there's nothing, just shooting the crap out of them out of the air. Don't let anyone convince you that a drone is better than an F-22 or an F-35 or any of that stuff. But
Yeah, that stuff.
but they're nice. They're nice. But
They are nice. Drones are nice.
we had our fighters shooting the hell out of 2,000 drones were launched at Israel, and they were just knocking them out. The only problem, on occasion, they'd run out of bullets. But every one of them took out a drone, and we did a great job. And then we did the
No, they didn't. Ours took out largely the missiles. The drones were taken out by the Iron Dome and their laser system.
best job of all is we knocked out the Iran nuclear power. And they would have had that, and within a month, I think they would have been a much
within a month.
different story. Would have been talking from a much different place.
What a bunker.
But the story of Hanukkah began.
Oh dear. Okay. Here comes the Wikipedia part of the night. This is where he asks a room full of Jews if they've ever heard the story, if they know the story of the menorah.
More than 2,000 years ago in ancient Jerusalem, when the oppressive tyrant and they were
The oppressive tyrant. They were an oppressive tyrant. The what?
Again, more than 2,000 years ago in ancient Jerusalem, when the oppressive tyrant and
the tyrant, the great Lord Tyrant, who ran the terrible anti-Semitic Hittite people, Tyrant the destroyer.
They were really oppressive.
They're very oppressive and very tyrannical.
By the way, a lot of things don't change so much.
Yeah, by the way, things don't change so much.
They'd be oppressive today if you didn't have strength. You need strength, Mark, right? If you don't have strength and if you don't have a partner.
Well, I mean, those people obviously back then are long dead. I think we're talking about Canaanites at this point, right?
With a good president. Don't forget, you had a president previously that believed in Iran. They ditched the entire world for Iran.
The entire world was signed on to the Iran deal.
That's why they signed the Iran nuclear deal that I terminated immediately. It was the worst deal. And Bibi Netanyahu came.
It's weird that they weren't close to having a nuclear weapon during the deal, but then as soon as you terminated it, things ramped up. I'm nitpicking at this point.
I'm over here to beg Barack Hussein Obama not to sign that deal, but he signed it. He signed it. It was a whole different world. And
yes, it was. That was a time when our president apparently didn't do whatever the leader of Israel told him to do, apparently.
That's why I wonder. I got the highest Jewish vote. Now, I have to say, in Israel, they say I'm at 99%.
Hey, America First Patriots, you're up.
But over here, I was like at 50. It meant that 50% of the people over here voted for Kamala. Is that possible? Is that even possible, right? So anyway,
happy Hanukkah.
They suppressed the Jewish worship and imposed foreign rules. Are we okay?
Imposed. Oh, sorry. Someone also collapses while he's saying this.
The Jewish worship and impose foreign rules. Are we okay over there? Just want to make sure you're okay. You okay? Good. I want to make sure you're perfect. Okay?
There's like a medical emergency happening. They don't turn the cameras around, and it never really gets cleared up.
Thank you very much, yeah. Yeah, is there a doctor? Get a doctor over there, please, just in case. Go ahead.
Yes.
Hop over there, please. Okay? Good. Thank you very much. Everything good? Okay.
Okay.
Great person. Again.
Yes, fantastic. Who?
It's overwhelming.
Also, later on, he thinks it's somebody else, just for the record. And he's like, oh, I thought it was Sally that fell. I don't want anything to happen to Sally. That other person, fine. But
a small band of Jewish fighters rose up to defend the Jewish people's right to worship freely. When they reclaimed the Holy Temple, They found only a single flask of sacred oil, just enough to keep the menorah's light burning for one night. They wanted that light to burn just for one night.
No, they didn't. They didn't want it just. They didn't want it to just. There wasn't enough. Like, there was only enough for one night. That's what makes it a miracle that lasted 8 nights.
Yet, as the story goes, that small flame endured for 8 days. Do you know that story? Does it?
Well, technically 8 nights. I don't know why you keep the lamp burning during the day. It just didn't seem to make a lot of. It seems wasteful.
Everybody know that story?
Does everybody know that story? No. I said, keep talking. It's completely foreign to me. As the member, as a member of the A-list of the Jewish lobby who is gathering with you for the Hanukkah celebration, this is all shocking. When did this happen? Does anybody know this story? Has everybody heard this one? Huh? Teaching you. By the way, did you know Abe Lincoln was a Republican?
Endured for 8 days. Do you know that story? Does everybody know that story?
That's fucking amazing. It's like when he's giving a speech to an evangelical group, and he reads a Bible verse that he's clearly never even seen before, but is one of the ones that the pastor gave him, so it's one they use all the time in that particular church, and he's like, huh? You ever heard that? Huh? That's in the Bible. It says so right here.
For thousands of years, the miracle of Hanukkah has reminded us of God's love for the Jewish people, as well as their enduring resilience and faith in the face of centuries of persecution. Centuries of persecution.
Also, centuries of Hanukkah. So, the endurance, I think, is the part that you'd really, kudos to them for enduring, I think, is the entire point of the holiday, really? No?
Continues. It continues. Who
yes.
would believe this could continue?
Everybody there.
And it sort of started here with schools and universities and...
Yeah, that's where it started. It totally started here with schools and universities. And not with the KKK. Jesus Christ, man. Sammy Davis Jr. used to have a joke where he'd go, he goes, I got on a bus and they told me because I'm black, I have to sit in the back. And he said to the bus driver, no, you don't understand. I'm Jewish. And the bus driver said, oh, well, then you have to get off the bus. Like... That was a part of Sammy Davis Jr.'s act. Trump just the whole my donors are here, so treat them like donors. That's the big thing. There's another little piece of this that I'll show you, and then we'll move on. Let's see. He texts CNN. And then, there's the bing bing, the boing bing. Oh, and this is where he's talking about how heroic the pilots are. He's like, I don't know, I wouldn't get in that plane. He's trying to explain to him how apparently these guys will launch missiles even when it's dark out. And they still hit everything. Not understanding, I guess, GPS, radar, infrared, sonar.
The pilots, enough is enough. I said, do you really like being in that plane when they're waiting for you? They know you're coming.
They're in bombers, dum-dum. They're almost in near Earth orbit. The B-2s don't, glide by the ground. They're not fighter jets. You've been watching too much Top Gun Maverick, stupid.
Dark, it's cold, everything is...
It's always dark and cold up there.
And you're in a plane.
That's true. They are. You got that part right. That is a detail, sure.
and there are bullets flying all over the place.
There are not bullets flying all over the place. You cannot fire conventional weapons high enough to strike a B-2 bomber, you silly person.
Sir, I wouldn't trade this for anything in the world. Can you believe these people?
Yes, I can. That's why we respect our military. When people risk their lives, that's what. Yes, I believe it. It's not a stretch. I have family that served in the military. I have family in law enforcement. They risked their lives. It's not surprising. It's why we appreciate them.
And I love you people, but I'm not getting in that plane.
Well, yeah. Otherwise, I mean, obviously you'd fuck the mission up by, you'd see some truck with a CNN bumper sticker and hit it instead.
I love you guys, but these people are unbelievable. The talent they have, the way they can fly those things, the way they can aim it at a target, and
they don't aim the plane at a target. These aren't dumb bombs. They're
dark of night, the darkest you've ever seen. They want
so dark. It just is so away. At night they're like it's almost like the sun is on the opposite side of the earth.
it to be as dark as possible.
They want it to be as dark as possible. Well, to match the plane, I guess.
Didn't want anything.
They didn't want anything.
The only time anybody could see those planes was when those bomb chutes open up, because it becomes totally unstealth when it goes. I explained that to Mark Levin once.
Did you?
You're going in, you go like this, and as soon as it goes like this, for some reason, the plane is totally visible, not good.
Not good. That's I guess the best way he can describe it overall,
Not good.
Yeah.
And I watched it happening, and it's like I'm sitting home watching it. It's amazing. The Situation Room is an amazing place. But I watched him go bing, bing. It went bing, bing, and two massive 100,000-pound bombs come pouring out.
Did they? They were like liquid bombs?
And the job they did was incredible. I mean,
yes, they did. And no one's surprised except you. I don't know why. Can anybody explain to me why he doesn't understand how a stealth bomber works after being president once already? And then by the way, then he goes on about how he made the decision on the Golan Heights. Now, obviously there's been this big issue about the Golan Heights, and you could argue that it was one of the impetuses for October 7th. This does not forgive it, but it's clearly one of the reasons why Hamas reacted as if this was the end of the world, and they're like, oh, time to go. He's going to give him the Golan Heights. He's moving the embassy to Jerusalem. This is it. They're not fucking around anymore. They're going to come for us and wipe us out. And so hence October 7th. This is the argument that Yahweh Sinwar, the happily now dead leader of Hamas's military wing, saw it and wrote it in his plan. And that's when he started playing the rope-a-dope with Bibi Netanyahu and basically playing this thing like, oh, you can buy us off like you bought off the Palestinian Authority, and we're ready to gentrify and all this stuff. And then they use the money for the attack. But this is his view, his in-depth study of the murky and difficult geopolitical aspects of recognizing the Golan Heights.
Two good ones, two very good ones. But I asked David Friedman, I don't know if David's here, but I asked him because he is so Israel-oriented. I mean, he's
orienting and oriented.
Great. I said, David, tell me about Golan Heights in 5 minutes.
Is he great? Sorry. I thought you said...
Oriented. I mean, he's great. I said, David, tell me...
He's great.
...about Golan Heights in 5 minutes or less. I'm taking...
In 5 minutes or less. In 5 minutes or less.
In like 1,000 years of history in 5 minutes. I said, give it to me in 5 minutes or less. And after about 2
leave all the details where I might want to second guess this.
minutes, I said, I understand.
In 2 minutes, he said he understood.
You need it so badly for so many other reasons. You need it for defense.
Yeah, you need it for defense. Now, tell us why they need it for defense right now.
In the old days, before we had all the sophisticated radar and all the things, it was everything because you were up high.
Right. You needed the Golan Heights because of the advantage it gave you from a battle standpoint because you wanted the high ground. Now we've got all these other technological advancements. You don't necessarily need it anymore, but you need it.
But I learned enough, and I signed the Golan Heights, the rights to the Golan Heights over to
the Golan Heights.
Israel. Nobody thought that was possible to get. They've been working on it for 70 years, Mark. 70 years. You know, planes would fly into places that have meetings that would last 2-3 days. All they talked about was the Golan Heights.
No, they didn't.
That's right, Jason.
No, they didn't fly in just to talk about the Golan Heights with planes flying in for days and days.
And nobody ever did anything, but I did it, and we did
because they all came to conclusions that it wasn't worth it.
It quickly, and I say good luck to you.
Yeah, good luck. It all works out. I did it. Now shut the fuck up, and if it turns into blowback, not my problem.
Then I found out the value of it. Trillions of dollars. It could be worth, if you think, trillions of dollars. I said, maybe I should have asked him for something.
Yeah, so there you go. It wasn't about recognizing, Israel's natural land and the rights of the people to their land and the tribe of Judea and all that stuff. Nope, it's just like, no, this is just good real estate, and I should have taken a piece of it. Yep. I mean, I'm sorry if this if that got too holiday for you, too cheery and too, I obviously I'm here covering bits of news or whatever, and you might be like, Jesus Christ, why don't you just play Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer on a loop? So now we move on to the Susie Wiles story. So Susie Wiles gives 11 interviews on tape, on the record, all context recorded, to a Vanity Fair reporter, and then the entire administration, sans Trump, does like a layout, like they're the cast of, a new sitcom version of The West Wing, and from it, I'll let Lana Douche explain it to you. Everybody's favorite NRA Barbie, who is very angry with Candace Owens, but we'll get to that in a bit too. This was shocking. Vanity Fair exposes Trump White House after walking right in.
So Vanity Fair did a piece on the Trump administration. And it wasn't just like a piece that was they just cobbled together. I mean, they actually went and sat with members of the administration. They did a photo shoot with members of the administration.
Boy, did they.
And they wrote this big old giant piece on it.
Oh, by the way, no. They wrote part one of a 2-chapter giant piece. The second of which is coming out later.
And it gets into, it says, and it has Susie Wiles, Vice President J.D. Vance, Caroline Leavitt, Marco Rubio. It has Stephen Miller. It has some of the...
You're right.
What interests me is are the people who sat for the photos and the ones who didn't.
Right.
That was interesting to me.
Right.
But they had this reporter, Chris Whipple, hanging out with the administration.
Right.
And apparently they were privy to, or they got to see a lot of interaction. And I don't know who greenlit it.
Trump. Trump greenlit it. Who do you think has the right or the ability to do it? Sign off on everybody? You don't think they ran it by the boss and he went, can I be in it?
But the point is that
Sorry, she puts so many pauses in. I have to fill them with something.
Now they're all pushing back on it because it ended up being kind of difficult.
Kinda. Wait a minute. Kinda difficult. Kinda douchey, maybe. Look at the picture. Also, I'm standing by my belief that RFK Jr. was right here, and the rest of the crew wanted him airbrushed out. They used AI and Photoshop and got rid of him.
The way that they introduced these members of the administration, they would have Stephen Miller, the zealot, and then they would get into some of these others. Well, then they all decide, they've all been pushing back today on this.
No, they haven't. They've actually been, a couple of them have actually admitted that they are what she said, specifically Vance and Trump. The rest of them all came to her defense, but they didn't question what she actually said.
Susie Wiles came out, president's chief of staff. She was quoted in the piece as saying that Trump had an alcoholic's personality. And that she thought AG Pam Bondi, and I'm looking at I read the article and I have different excerpts of it.
As you would.
They don't like the gas.
That she was talking about AG Pam Bondi. She said that she had, quote, completely whiffed.
She whiffed what? All right.
End quote. How she handled the earlier Epstein stuff.
Oh, no. She's still whiffing it.
Now, that's how they quoted her in the piece. So Wiles posted a statement to X saying, quote, the article published early this morning is a disingenuously framed hit piece.
Disingenuously framed. That is not a denial that she said that. I'm just saying, I mean, there are recordings.
Action replays in magnified fortune.
So.
On me and the finest president, White House staff, and cabinet in history.
Yes, they're great people. They're the best people, and they all know the best words.
Not good.
Said significant context was disregarded, and much of what
significant context. You do realize they were taping the interviews, right?
What I and others said about the team and the president was left out of the story. I assume, after reading it, that this was done to paint an overwhelmingly chaotic and negative narrative about the president and our team, end quote.
Well, yeah, it's not going to affect Trump, though.
I don't read, obviously.
Yeah.
She had a lot of participation, pretty lengthy, in this interview.
She did 11 interviews on tape since the beginning of the year. It's been months.
So I was reading about all of this.
I don't read, obviously.
I mean, they had Vanity Fair for like the better part of a year in the
right. Yeah. Yes. By accident.
West Wing. So Russ Vought has come out and pushed back, and they have everybody, Lee Zeldin, everybody is pushing back on it.
Oh, you mean the people who weren't in the actual interviews or weren't interviewed and weren't present when she was interviewed? Good.
And they keep talking about context. Whenever I hear context and hit piece and left out of the story, whenever I hear that used, especially left out, that means that there's probably a whiff of truth to it.
A whiff. So is this the same kind of whiff that we got from Pam Bondi on the Epstein files, or a totally different whiff?
So let me just tell you how I would view this. Because it seems like, first off, my thought is, why the hell did you invite the press in there?
Yes.
Why did you invite the legacy press? The legacy press is not your friend.
Ego. Because Trump is a desperate and needy fool.
Legacy press is not your friend, and there is no amount of inviting the legacy press and, you
don't understand. Trump doesn't actually think you guys matter. Bongholio's podcast, yours, the Blase, the Daily Wire, the Daily Caller. He wants to be the darling of CNN and Hollywood and Vanity Fair and Time Magazine. That's why he okayed it.
Dumb, dumb, stupid. Dumb, silly, stupid.
Reporters, their photographers to the White House and being nice to them and giving them access. There's no amount of doing that's going to make them write fair and or kind things about you. As we get ready to celebrate the birthday of our Savior, we should also remember his mother. Imagine how scared.
Yes, imagine how scared she was trying to explain to her husband that she was carrying someone else's baby and that she'd never had sex. All right, go ahead.
It's never going to happen. I also think this is why if you're in politics and you deal with the press at all, you record everything.
Absolutely. You want to record everything.
Action replays in magnified fortune.
So that everybody can check what you said.
When they gaze upon Yosemite,
You know.
to me, Corona means Italy.
You know, so.
Free health care for illegal, look.
You know.
Heard that Saudi Arabia and Russia will repeat your,
You know, you're right. You want to make sure you have recordings of everything. Hold on.
You were with us when it was not as nice. Hydrosonic, I call it super duper.
I felt really good almost after taking it.
And who can forget his pride at creating the Ass Force?
First new branch of the U.S. Armed Forces in 75 years, Space Force. Not since the Ass Force.
Not since the Ass Force. You want to have that on tape.
I do not talk to anybody in the press without recording it.
You don't talk to anybody in the press, Dana. What are they going to ask you? What? You have no insider knowledge. None. Nothing. And that's nothing to be ashamed of. I don't have inside, beltway, informants that give me shit. I have to figure it out by reading like everybody else. Well, not everybody.
I don't read, obviously.
But no, I'm sorry. Who's doing a gotcha interview on Lana Douche?
I gave a quote for a piece for Wall Street Journal like a month or so ago.
And you were worried they were going to misquote you at Rupert Murdoch's paper?
And I recorded that conversation.
Okay. Excellent. And did they quote you exactly as you said because it's Rupert Murdoch's paper?
And they're always like, do you mind if we record, just so we make sure that we get things accurate? And I said that you're totally fine. I record also. Most of the time I don't tell them. I'm in Texas, so we only have one party consent.
That's good. Yeah, Texas isn't big on asking consent for anything, right?
But I always record every interaction.
Every interaction? Jesus Christ. Your house must be full of cameras like Epstein.
I don't know if they didn't do that. I don't know. But, oh, man, you cannot invite the legacy press in. They're the scorpion. The scorpion's going to sting you. That's what scorpions do.
Right. I'm sure the Vanity Fair reporters were aware of that when they went into the White House. And they're like, you know what? We're probably going to get stung by these creeps, but we got to do our job.
There's no exception. You're not going to make a reporter see the light.
No.
They are so ingrained. If they got that far and they're that high up and they're that ingrained and they have White House access, you're not going to do it.
You're not going to do it. Wouldn't be prudent. Not going to do it.
We're honored to have with us today our amazing Vice President, Mike Pence, and his wonderful wife, Karen.
You got to be careful. The legacy media will always record shit and throw it back in your face.
Michigan gave us Motang.
What?
Michigan gave us Motang.
I'm sorry, they did what?
Michigan gave us Motang. Gave us Motown, gave us the Mustang.
Well, that's nice of them. I appreciate all three of those things, honestly.
That's better than a brick because you can't throw a brick. It's too heavy.
I know.
So I don't know why they invited them in thinking
Ego, desperation, loneliness.
that it was going to be any different. And gave them that much access and then sat for the photos because they did sit for a professional photo shoot. I don't know who they had as their photographer.
Sure you do. It's Anderson. Somebody Anderson. It's written in the thing. It's probably, I don't know, a relative of Anderson Cooper's. I mean, they just can't get enough.
And medical and what we're doing.
It wasn't Annie Leibovitz, although she does a lot of the Vanity Fair stuff. But
Yeah, she wouldn't sign off on this one. She was busy.
I just don't know why. A lot of the White House colleagues came out to defend it. Reaffirming, what they thought about Wiles. Reporters can't just make up. And sometimes now I will say at some publications, it's not that they will make up and attribute a quote to someone, because they know that if they did that actually opens up the paper to litigation. And I will say, when you're evaluating these things, that's what you have to look for.
Yes, the fact that they are fearlessly publicizing these things, publishing them, and publicizing them, and they're not worried about it because they've run it past legal and they've checked it 3 ways to Sunday, and a lot of other people have heard the recordings.
The papers are smart. Editors are smart.
Yeah, especially in the legacy media.
That doesn't mean they like you. It just means they don't want to open themselves up to not even just a litigation, but they don't want to lose what they think is their moral high ground.
Right. Yeah. They know how to do their job and not get sued and all that. Sure. Yeah.
They're not allowed to be offensive, unfortunately.
By screwing up and misattributing a quote. So they'll put quotations around things that are quotes, and they will not, otherwise they'll just intimate it.
Yeah, we've all read Fox News articles.
You'll have nobody guarding your potatoes.
Right.
It'll be like, oh, so-and-so, colon, and then a sentence that's not in quotes. Okay, so that's spin.
It's technically not spin. It's, I think they're giving the idea behind it. If they've got the quote, they could, and they got called on the carpet because they were spinning something and making you look bad, defaming you. Most of the time, by the way, they do those things. They do it to make you actually sound better. A lot of times they do that with Trump because if they gave the actual quote, he'd sound like a moron.
And when they get caught, they say, no, this is just soup for my family.
But it seemed like this go around, there was a lot of access given to this Vanity Fair reporter. Now, I think that, what was his name? Michael Wolff, or that guy? He's different than Vanity Fair, I think, but it's still no less of a poisonous piece.
Yeah, but Trump talks to him all the time, too.
You just got to expect that they're going to do this to you.
Once it was reluctantly aroused. It was hard to get it aroused, and it is hard to get it aroused, but we got it aroused.
Sure.
So why give them that much access?
Ego, weakness, a pathetic need to be liked by people that are your betters and you're aware of it, I guess. And also...
They don't like the gas.
All right.
Why give them that much access? Why give them all of that? I don't understand it. And then...
A lot of very bad things are happening in Nicaragua.
Yeah.
Be shocked when it bites you in the backside.
Mm-hmm.
We cannot have another Michael Wolff scenario. Just not...
Oh, you're going to.
Doing it. Cannot do this again.
Mm-mm.
So I saw...
Sorry, what was the Michael Wolff center? Oh, yeah, that's right. He saw pictures of Trump with underage girls that Epstein had in his possession.
And I'm like, that's now they have to deal with that all day today. POTUS is going to be speaking tomorrow from the White House. Not sure on what, but
right. Well, that makes the two of you.
Our army manned the airport. It ran the ramparts. It took over the airports. It did everything it had to do.
He's doing a press conference from the White House. I don't know if that's going to come up at all. Maybe not. Thanks for watching.
I don't know if that's going on. I got nothing. It's look. If anybody's gonna come to your defense, it's gonna be Lana Douche. You know what I mean? You're covered. She's got you covered. We got Trish Regan. We did that part. We did the banging thing. We've been blazing through stuff today. Look at that. I'm getting through my clips like crazy. And I started a little late. I apologize about that. Now, there is one other thing I want to show you guys, and I got to find it in my viewing history. Now, normally, like I said, I don't really show stuff that, yeah, here it is. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. This business.
Scaled the rooftops.
Okay, so after let's see if I can roll back to this. Pierce Morgan had Candace Owens on after her meetup with Erica Kirk. You know, after the détente, after the peace summit. I'm surprised Trump hasn't claimed that he got them together and negotiated a ninth peace deal. I thought Ukraine and Russia would be the easiest one, but I got Erica Kirk and Candace Owens to not wig snatch and pull each other's eyelashes. But so I should get a Nobel Prize just for getting them together. So she met with her, and it came out as well as everyone thought. Here's a little retelling.
Erica Kirk. It came right after we saw her say in that CBS town hall, you should just stop with the conspiracy theories. So who approached who about you guys actually getting together?
I was approached by Turning Point after Blake Neff, who works on Charlie's show, sort of fumbled this.
Somebody apparently has just walked in on them. There's somebody at the door at where she's staying, or where in the garage where Pierce Morgan does his show.
Invite. It was, I'd almost say it was a fake invite publicly, and then in the middle of the night said,
"Damn,
no, Candace is not able to be here tomorrow," and they never messaged me. And I think there was quite a bit of public backlash with how they went about it. It just was just not the way that we try to set meetings.
Or your audience could, be predisposed to hate them, and so they responded that way in your chat room because that's the only people you listen to or talk to. And on Erica's side, probably the same thing happened because that's the situation right now, which I'm enjoying.
And so what happened after was they reached out to me, said Erica would agree to do a live stream, just the two of us.
Just the two of us. We can make it if we try.
And then after Erica's PR blitz, they reached out again and said that they felt that it was better for us to meet one-on-one as opposed to us.
One-on-one, I'm gonna play that game tonight. Gotta love some White Soul.
Sitting down, having Megyn Kelly moderate, which was the idea of.
Would there be a kiddie pool, maybe mud involved? I'm just curious. From the Stripes fan in me just wants to know.
Originally.
Right. And so where did you have your summit meeting?
At a hotel here in Nashville.
Wow.
And a lot of your supporters, fans of your show, think that you may have been lured into a trap.
Yes, they were literally telling her not to drink any water. It was like she was going after the cross dagger of Ajanti and the Golden Child. Don't drink any water. What are you, Carol Merrill now? I'm so scared of the dark too.
Did anything while you were there make you think you were being lured into a trap?
I don't know that a lot of my fans think that I was.
They all thought that. They were all screaming, "You don't drink. If they give you something to drink, don't drink it." That's what everybody said.
Being lured into a trap. I think ahead of time they had some concerns, obviously, because I think in general.
Yes, they were less concerned after you survived.
After you see a public assassination and you start tracking so many lies that are happening, there's going to be an understandable amount of angst that people feel.
Yeah, imagine how the woman who lost her husband feels, I guess.
And I certainly felt the angst as well.
Yes, we're all angsty right now. I'm feeling a little angsty. No, it's just gas. I'm fine.
I've obviously been very clear that I am suspicious of some of the characters that are at Turning Point USA. So I totally understand why the public was concerned.
When you saw Erica,
the public, that's adorable.
Because she was obviously angry about you in that CBS town hall. What was her demeanor like when you met her?
Well, I don't think that she thought she was angry in that. I think maybe that was the characterization from the public. I certainly thought she was angry as well. And she sort of clarified that she was a bit annoyed by
That sounds like annoyed is close to angry, I think. Yeah.
the
Like stage 1 angry.
questioning, the way in which Barry had set up the question with the podcaster Candace Owens, which I think was definitely being driven more by Barry Weiss's feelings towards me, long-running feelings towards me, than it was perhaps for the.
I gotta say, Barry Weiss was like, if anybody saw some of this, Barry Weiss was like rougher on Candace Owens than anybody. Like she was mad. The whole like, she was like, how dare she? Like she was like all like journalistic integrity, balance out the window. Like she was like, this bitch, like it was amazing.
Benefit of CBS and trying to pretend to be an impartial journalist. So I think she was frustrated by the line of questioning, is what she explained to me.
So how would you categorize the 4.5 hours? If you were
I would put it in the category of conversations, edging on argument, back and forth. If I had a file folder, that's the category I would put it in.
looking at it in totality, what was the tone of the conversation? What do you think you both got out of it?
Well, for me, answers to the questions of trying to understand why there were so many turning point lies and why instead of people acknowledging that these are lies, I felt that there was this billion-dollar psychological operation to convince people that Candace is just crazy. These aren't lies. These are made up.
$1 billion? That's a little egotistical, don't you think? Yeah, it was a private conversation they had. It was not on television. The Barry Weiss thing, for those that weren't following along, was a town hall she did with Erica Kirk where they talked about Candace. And then the meeting between Candace Owens and Erica Kirk was going to be on camera, and then they decided they wanted to do it in private, which could not make this shit more hinky for all the people involved. Like, if you believe Erica Kirk, you're going to believe that Candace Owens, like, she told her the truth, and Candace just came away full of shit like she was before. And if you believe Candace Owens, you're going to think that, like, they were trying to corral her into, towing the line. And if she came out agreeing with what Erica Kirk had said and was like, I was wrong, then her entire audience was like, oh my God, they dosed her. They threatened her life behind closed doors. And if she comes out saying, yep, I believed everything, they're going to think Erica Kirk whispered to her, you're right. Like, that's
up. And so
this was so, I mean, it's handled by, these people are morons through and through, all of them.
I was very refreshed that they owned up to the lies. That was a great first step. And I think.
Sorry. Erica Kirk told you that Turning Points USA was lying about the details about Charlie Kirk's death. Okay.
What motivates that? Maybe because despite having what I would assume to be the best PR agents and crisis PR agents in the world, we're moving toward.
If you had the best, would it really be a problem? Would you be in this situation? They actually caught the person who allegedly killed him. Like, you wouldn't have this kind of blowback and shit if you had the best PR people. I think they probably have the third best.
A different world where people don't really care, if you are friends with the people at WME and CAA and what they can do for you. That sort of power.
That's William Morris Endeavor. That's a big agency, by the way.
Is ineffectual in this day and age, and so I think they recognize that, and that the public simply doesn't believe the story that they've been fed and the psychological operation.
And by public, she means her audience and not Erica Kirk's audience and whatever.
And to convince us not to believe our own eyes or
lack thereof,
to trust our common sense instincts has failed.
I think common sense instincts sounds like a big open door for common misconceptions. And by the way, I have no dog in this fight between these folks. I think it's sad that Charlie Kirk was killed. I'm not a fan of the man, but I don't think anybody should be assassinated for their political beliefs, and I think it's grotesque. So I can leave it there. But watching this like Real Housewives of Maggots bullshit go on is relatively entertaining.
Okay, and I think on their end, they got more clarity on how I figured out certain things.
Ooh, not why I said certain things, but how I figured out certain things.
More clarity on why I am convinced that there are people that are inside of Turning Point that are dirty. And I was able to share more with them off record. And I think that
you bring in a bulletin board or something.
He got more clarity in exchange.
Before we get into some of the sort of specifics, is there not a danger here? I've already seen it in some of the reaction from people that follow your show. Is there not a danger that in seeking to be the one that exposes the truth, and I don't know the truth about what happened to Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, you kind of do.
Work on the assumption that this lone, twisted, weirdo Tyler Robinson killed him for whatever reason, and I suspect, personally, that is how this will play out. However, I have an open mind in the sense that we still don't really know what happened with President Kennedy's assassination.
Yeah, you do. Didn't Trump just dump all the extra files and everybody's like, yeah, pretty much worked out the way we thought?
I found the attempted assassination of Donald Trump very odd in the...
Yeah, it's funny that he, of all people, seems the least interested in Thomas Crooks and the background and what happened to the guy and the details on it. He more than almost anybody else has written it off quick. I mean, it's one thing for like people on his side of the aisle or even my side of the aisle to go like, it seems a little funky. Can we find out a little more about this dude? And Trump's like, nah, nothing to see here. It's just another Epstein files. Nothing to see here. Move along.
Way that's been handled by the authorities and so on. I'm not naive as a journalist of 40 years.
No, you're dopey. It's naive as you're far too old to be naive. You're confused and a bit of a dipshit.
I'm not naive enough to say every single thing.
No one's naive enough.
And you've been saying is obviously baloney because I don't know. And we'll get to some of the...
And I haven't seen what you've said, so I'm the perfect person to interview.
More specific details. But is there not a danger, Candice, that by having a 4.5-hour private meeting, rather than doing it in public, that all you're really going to do, collectively actually, you and Erica Kirk, is fuel the conspiracy theories?
Yes. Do you hear that distant sound of cha-ching going off? Yeah. And what's the problem from Candace's point of view?
About what you may or may not have discussed in that meeting, what part of the stuff that you've been broadcasting on your show she agrees with and doesn't agree with, and so on. Is there not a danger this is the least transparent way of going about trying to get solutions here?
Yeah, it's exactly that, which is why it benefits both sides.
Well, I'm a very transparent person, so my preference was to do it publicly, but I took the offer, obviously, to have any conversation, because if I hadn't done that, then I think everything I've been doing would have appeared disingenuous. Like, oh, Candace is pretending that she wants answers to her questions, but when she got this offer, she suddenly said she didn't want to go because it wasn't public. They would have felt like I was moving the goalpost.
Why? Why would they feel that? Why wouldn't you want it to be out in the open? I mean, obviously, how about this? Talk to Erica in private, but insist that you meet with all the people that you've been shit-talking at TPUSA on camera. You know what I mean? If you're accusing people in her staff of being in on the murder, do a live stream with them. That way you're not just bugging his widow. Why not? What problem would they have? Good Lord.
So I was willing to take anything. And from their viewpoint, they felt like...
Just like Don Jr. in front of a bowl full of pills.
After the CBS News and the Fox News hits that Erica did, it was... My understanding was that they felt that it was a good idea to bring the temperature down first by having us sit down and communicate. And that doesn't mean that they necessarily say, oh, well, that's it. Now we're not going to have any other public discussion. I'm hopeful they will. I think they should. I totally agree with you. More transparency, the better.
Who else was in the meeting? Erica was there. Who else was there?
Justin Strife, who is the COO of Turning Point USA. And my husband was only there for a portion of it. And my cousin.
So there were no...
Your cousin. Sure. Is your cousin a bodyguard, a legal representative, or... Did you have to just drop them off at the mall and you didn't get a chance to get by there? They always wanted to see Nashville. It is a very nice place.
There are no lawyers, for example?
No lawyers. But...
No, the Turning Point's lawyer showed up.
They did phone their lawyer because
Well, they got him on speaker.
Asked the question. I was like, look, I'm open to being wrong, obviously. If there is something, which I think the media was kind of hinting at, that they had more, but they couldn't share it with the public, I said, I'm happy to keep my mouth shut, and I want to feel good walking out of here that there is something there. There is some sort of a smoking gun, and I will tell...
Well, it wasn't smoking, but it's a rifle.
Viewers just to be patient. And so they did call one of the lawyers working on this case, and it was not convincing at all. He
this worked out. I think this meeting really did work out.
Said in effect, all we have is what the public has seen. And we won't know more because we're investigating and looking for more. And so that just made me go, why is everybody being so over the top and ridiculous and using words like the evidence is overwhelming? It was Tyler Robinson, when they don't have anything that's overwhelming to show that they don't have a video of him taking the shot, which I think was something that I assumed, like, okay, there's all these cameras. Maybe they actually have that video and they're waiting for a moment to release that to the public. They don't have that. Or at least.
Yeah, most places don't have cameras that cover their rooftops. Maybe that'll change. And most of the cameras that were there were pointed in Charlie's direction.
I can say Erica's side has not seen that. And the lawyer communicated to me that they would not have access to that until earliest would be May. That right now they're just investigating, just like
JD Christie, I will.
We're doing back at home.
Okay, you said that your motive for going to the meeting was that you would be able to come out and tell the world Tyler Robinson killed Charlie Kirk. So are you in a position to say that? Do you believe, as a consequence of your 4.5 hours with Erica, do you believe that it is now most likely that Tyler Robinson killed Charlie Kirk?
Absolutely not.
Well, that settles it. I'm so glad they had that meeting. I think it solved a lot of the problems that they have. I mean, what more could you ask for in that circumstance? I know I went a little bit over, but I was having so much fun. I miss Cupcake and Ficus too. I wish I could fix that part of it. I'm working on it, but it's been a pain in the ass. I managed to do it once, and then the system did work. By the way, share the show, hit the like, share the videos, subscribe, all that stuff. I will say there does seem to be a slight jump up in my viewership since I dual streamed vertical and horizontal. You're welcome. Yeah. I appreciate you guys. Was there an autopsy? Yes, there was an autopsy. And yes, they found, I guess, bullet fragments. I mean, it's all very sad. The poor dude was shot. Like, I'll argue with anybody, and I believe words meet words aplenty. We do not need to take, physical action against anybody for anything they say. Self-defense is one thing, but like any of this shit, like ending in someone's life being taken, is just garbage. And it's interesting that part of the problem that the right has is that while they will sell this idea that they're all Christians and that they believe in Judeo-Christian values and what have you, the reality is that they're paranoid Darwinists, most of them, who are completely ate up with sort of demonic conspiracy theories mixed with this idea that they are somehow the master race. Each one of them is the best of their own people, and they should all get together because there's elites and then there's the rest of us. And these folks, and I would argue that Candace and Pierce are both in this class, believe they are betters. And Trump also clearly believes this. He believes you can judge people by their genes. And I don't mean Sydney Sweeney, which I believe also the entire thing was bait to just capture people and make them argue about shit that doesn't matter and crap on somebody for doing an ad. But that group of people all believe that they're special, and the problem with that is that you're gonna come head to head if you're fighting for dominance like that. That was one of the things about World War II is that everybody was like, well, the Germans and the Japanese are siding with each other, but eventually both of those groups think they're the dominant race on the planet, and so after they're done with the rest of us, then they're going to go on each other. And that's been a problem for millennia. Like two groups that believe they're superior battling together and destroying everybody else, but then eventually there can be only one. It's the Highlander syndrome. Sorry, portrait mode has its own separate chat, by the way, from the vertical chat, and it is loaded with trolls. Yeah, that's fine, Andrea. Don't worry about it. They can all be in there. It boosts our numbers whether they like it or not. It's a good way to corral them, I think, even. So I'll figure that part of it out, but it's nothing to worry about. Yes, but to all the maggots and trolls that are still supporting Donald Trump, I just want you guys to remember that
Our army manned the airports. It ran the ramparts. It took over the airports. It did everything it had to do. The kidney has a very special place in the heart.
Right.
Action replays in magnified fortune. Winston Churchill stood on the rooftops in London, very calm, making speeches. Winston Churchill.
I had a beat off.
And we developed just some very good friendship.
I see.
I don't know. That's the kind of thinking you've got. That's the kind of thinking you're supposed to be voting for, I guess, huh?
Yeah, I guess so. So I know you guys believe in him, and I'm sure he believes in you.
Michigan gave us Motown. Gave us Motown. Gave us the Mustang.
Just tell me if Joe Biden had said,
Michigan gave us Motown.
would you ever let it go? And of course, on top of that, I would like to remind you that Donald Trump was Jeffrey Epstein's wingman for 25 years. And the big question for you will always be, how long would it have taken you to figure out that he was a pedophile? Less than 25 years? Well, then you got one up on your favorite president. So you're welcome.
Just the facts, ma'am.
I try. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Take care of yourselves and take care of somebody else. And remember, and this song, by the way, goes out to Lana Douche. It goes out to Candace, to Erica Kirk, and the organization, not to her, but to Turning Points. I think certainly to Pierce Morgan, also to Dave Smith. It goes out to Tucker. This song goes out to Trump himself and all the maggots that just refuse to look past or look into the fact that he and Epstein were very close, almost as close as he was with Roy Cohn. Yep, that's right. Donald Trump's two best friends, both dead pedophiles. Maybe you guys can explain it to me. Leave a comment. Why would Trump be friends with those guys for that long?
The screen glows bright with a crooked smile.
Hit the like on your way out. And if you're a troll or a maggot and you don't like the show, please give me a thumbs down. Don't forget to leave. Engagement matters. It doesn't matter whether you like it or not. It all helps.
Promises made, they rot in the air. A handshake, a lie, a blank, cold stare. Puppets dance, the strings are tight. Shadows whisper in the dead of night. This is some bullshit. We see through it. This is some bullshit. Can't undo it. Say it loud. We won't quit. This is some bullshit.
Sydney has a very special place in the heart. When they gaze upon Yosemite,
Immortal principles.
He meant explosive in terms of fire.
salt water in their veins. You have that salt water